desk.
Thank you, Freak. Gentlemen, what a crazy finish.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a split-second finish there.
Absolutely.
To a game that really seemed to drag in the middle. But I do want to start at
Crazy
the beginning. We had some interesting picks come out. We saw Team Impulse move slightly away from this Apollo-heavy carry team comp and putting Impact on that rise in the top lane.
Well, I think the ban of Kog'Maw was very smart, taking that away from Apollo. But we have seen Rise been pretty dominant in some Asian countries. That I think it's actually still a very good champion to gravitate towards. It has that carry potential, and if it gets ahead, it gets the Seraphs and Rod of Ages, it pretty much wins all 1v1s in the top lane.
And then, of course, we saw in the jungle matchup the Gragas, comfortable Gragas for Dominate, and the comfortable Lee Sin for Rush. Now,
I think everybody was a little too comfortable in this game. Because
Yeah.
as you're saying, waiting for the rise, everybody was waiting for a little too much.
Yeah, there's a definite element of that. But Meteos, we did notice something a little bit unusual, and it's a little bit nitpicky, but we saw the Cinder Hulk on the Lee Sin come out, and you had some insight as to the fact that Rush has been doing this lately.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting because Rush has basically got himself known for this super aggressive all-or-nothing playstyle, and so switching to Cinder Hulk seems to go against that a lot because Cinder Hulk's just a really safe build on Lee Sin. You're never really going to take off, but you're also never really going to be useless. But, I mean, he did fine during the mid-game, but it just wasn't really like the Rush everyone knows. You know, it seemed like he sort of has become a lot more reserved, at least in this game. Maybe he'll go back to his aggressive style, but I don't know, it's really interesting to see.
Yeah, was he? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but when I see that, though, the difference between the Warrior and the Cinder Hulk in that game was pretty much a non-factor. It's just what they did in the mid-game that was the big problem because they did nothing with their advantage. They sat there waiting for Dragons, waiting for Rise to get more of an advantage over Maokai, and then press it. But they had all the engage tools, save for the Maokai engage. That's it. And they did nothing with it. So TIP, you can see them there on your screen. They have a lot of thinking about to do here coming into this next game because right now they had all the cards. They had the advantage. They had the engage tools. They had split push pressure, and they didn't use any of it. They waited for an engage that came to them. They didn't choose it.
I do think that the Ashe pick seemed a little off this game because when you first pick Lisa and Lulu, it's just, you know, telling the other team you're going to run a protect the carry comp. And they sort of, I guess, tried to switch it up by going with a Rise comp instead of, you know, the traditional 80 carry comp. But I really think something like a Jinx would have been better there. If you get a Jinx, you rush Zeke's on your support. It's just insanely strong, especially on this patch. So I think that's something that may have gone a little better for them. Maybe Ashe is something they've been practicing a lot and they feel comfortable with. But I'm not really sure. Maybe they have something planned for next game.
They already are putting Apollo on more carry-type style champions, and Gate, he was the kind of kink in the armor that I was looking at that was going to fall behind for Impulse, and he kind of went pretty even in the mid lane. So like you're saying, if they can get Apollo on something more that can be more damage, more carry, I think Tip's really going to put themselves back in this one.
Actually, I guess they also could have gone for Sivir that game. Like basically what Tip is known
they
for.
always have.
They are the Sivir players. Apollo is the Sivir only main.
The number
and
of Sivir
it was
games.
open, so I think it would have been really good against their comp. Team Liquid first pick Gragas. You don't really want to take in a mobile carry. Sivir's very good against him, so maybe they'll change it up next time.
I do want to jump into a couple of replays real quick. The first one, we talked so much today at the beginning of the show how energy, how hype, how emotion is going to come into play. First replay out the gate, Dominate making an incredible play in the top lane. Some pressure coming from the jungle. We're going to get that up on your screens and we're going to roll it out right away.
I love the way he plays this because his hitbox would have collided with Ashe, but if he's prepped himself. If I see anything that looks like a flash, I'm going to flash into this spot and immediately gets the knockback afterwards. That was so awesome. Apollo, though, when you look at that play over again, if he had arrowed the Maokai immediately, he could have stopped that from happening. But still, the fact that he was able to do that, the reaction, because that was a pure reaction, but he had prepped himself for the possibility that it was coming.
It feels good, but then you see that it's almost like they slowed down, and then Impulse was able to get their lead, and then an ace, and then wait 16 minutes to get almost aced.
Yeah, we're not going to look at that replay, but I do want to talk about that fight where Impulse did pick up their lead because there seemed to be a little bit of miscommunication. Piglet almost making the call that we can fight this with the ult and tumble in while the rest of the team was on the retreat.
Yeah, he made some kind of feints towards he's going to go up, then he went back into the pit, and then it looked like he was going to go up again, and then he's like, okay, I'm in the pit, but now I have to go forward because I had made these stutter steps. And I feel like he was just trying to buy time and make himself look juicy as the TP from Quas was coming in. But it was a little too late. Phoenix mispositioned in that fight, and it really gave up that large advantage. But TIP, once again, did not press that advantage, and that was the big part of this game for them, is that they didn't do anything with it.
Meteos, let's talk about the events or lack of events that unfolded after that. You know, you said yourself how many times you have been in this same position in a game where your team had the lead and you guys didn't quite know what to do. You know, with the tools that Tip had at their fingertips, what could they have done to press their advantages a little bit more?
Well, it's actually an interesting situation where, like you said, I have been in this situation. And to viewers, you might be sitting there being like, why aren't they doing anything? They're 5K up, you know, like just go fight them. And obviously what Tip was thinking was they were just seeing the CS advantage with Ryze over Maokai. And it was just growing and growing and growing. He's probably 150 CS up. So they're probably just thinking, okay, guys, like we're going to win this game. We have our like double carries. We've got Lulu. Maokai is going to be super useless. But they never really, you know, like pulled the trigger and went for something with the lead that they kept getting. They maybe could have done more Baron baiting. They could have went for more deep vision, tried to make plays, but they were just content sitting back scaling. But
Well, then, Irene, we saw them pull the trigger eventually, right? And this is our second replay. We're going to pull this one up where Team Liquid ends up winning the fight, but this is off of an impulse engage.
Yeah, you see Dominate got chunked out before this fight, but what's going to happen is the arrow is going to go past. They still want this engage, though, and Piglet chunks out Gate, and everybody clumps up because as the Leona ultimate comes down, they were anticipating to be able to capitalize on it, and that's just a beautiful follow-up there from Team Liquid. That was what they were looking for. Both sides were anticipating the position of the other. It's just Team Liquid had the one that came afterwards, after the Leona ultimate. Even if that Leona ultimate had landed, Piglet would have been stunned. Great. Ori ultimate still would have came through, and Phoenix really had the upper hand there in that. Especially, I like the condemn backwards that pushed Gate out, because he couldn't really help his team at that point. He wasn't going to add any more damage. So I really felt that the way that Team Liquid played that fight was pretty much key.
The
summoners
as well, keeping him on the up and up. Because of that, it gave Impulse so many more things to think about, whether they went on Gate, or I'm sorry, on Phoenix or onto Piglet. Both of them just cleanse out, and you saw the priority they were trying to put on those targets. That causes you to lose the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that game was quite back and forth, you know, in hindsight, although it did stall out quite a bit. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Well, we are going to step away while Team Impulse and Team Liquid reset for Game 2 of our third place match. Also, TSM's Diaries and Wild Turtle are in the house and will be joining us in just a little bit to share their thoughts on the action and their looming showdown in the finals. Now, keep it tuned right here. Our playoff coverage continues after this.
Here we go, everyone. Game 1 is live.
Apollo has to flash this.
Oh, I will dominate with the sick flash of the body slam. Here comes Quas as well.
Here's the
Oh my God!
Good shit.
Okay, time that.
Jenna. Nice.
He's running into the shockwave. In comes the engage, the kickback, dominate. The fight continues. Apollo goes down to Piglet. Fight the Whimsy. They're going to go for the game-winning push. Gate goes down. Now they want Rush. Could Liquid do it already? Team Liquid take Game 1.